Alright, so we made it here for our match against Tim Pop Superstar. We're going to be on the play against Tim. Alright, this hand's just awesome. It's a really nice hand. We've got Top Crop Skirmisher, we've got Weaver of Currents, we've got Bounty Alexa, and Shimmer Scale Drake. It just looks really nice. We can actually cast Weaver right into the Shimmer Scale Drake if we are uncontested. We're going to play the Top Crop on 2, and then probably the Weaver on 3. Getting the Weaver down quickly is important so that we can get a lot of value from the fact that we're getting that extra mana. The more turns we get to use that extra mana, the better. So when they went to go cycle right there, when Tim went to go cycle, I just had this flashback to Mana Tithe, and I was like, is he going to counter this for 1? But that's not a thing in this set. There are not any white counter spells. Alright, we're going to attack with the Top Crop Skirmisher. Unless they have a pump spell, I don't think they'll block. And personally, I wouldn't block even if I had a pump spell, I don't think. This thing's... It's kind of okay because it's a 2-for-1, so it really makes your opponent really think twice about trading you creatures for the little Top Crop guy here. We are all the way up to 6 mana now. We don't have any amazing plays for 6 though, so we're going to try to spend as much of it as we can. We can spend 5 of it with a Shimmer Scale Drake. I think that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to leave a green up. And next turn we'll have a little bit better control of the board situation probably, and we might be able to cast Bounty of Luxa at some point soon. Ideally we'll get it on the board kind of soon so we can start drawing cards with it. But we don't want to give up a ton of board position and get really far behind to play it either. It's kind of a balance with Bounty Alexa. So they didn't play anything. Our expectation here would be that they're going to tap down one of our guys, EOT, and then hit us with the start trying to hit us with the Unwavering Initiate. So we now have 7 mana, so we could cast Bounty Alexa and Edifice of Authority, which I think is what we're going to do here. We're not going to swing in the air. We're just going to go ahead and cast these 2 cards. There's our Bounty Alexa. And here is our Edifice. So the Bounty Alexa, again, what it does is the first... So when it comes in, it does nothing. And then it'll start doing its work. The first time that... on your next turn, it'll draw you a card. The turn after it comes in. On the turn after that, it will give you 3 mana. A colorless, a green, and a blue. On that turn after that, it will draw you a card again, and it'll go back and forth like that. So it'll either draw you a card or give you 3 mana each turn. It's kind of an interesting card. It helps you ramp a little bit, but it also draws you cards. This was pretty mean of them to mess up our Drake like this. Poor little Drake. And all for only 1 mana. Top Crop Elite. That card is pretty solid. We're going to draw a card now. Sweet, Glyph Keeper. It's not as good as Glyph Keeper, I'll tell you that right now. Can we cast... We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 mana. We don't really need 8. We're going to leave this green in the hand. Like they say, a green in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. It's not actually true. They don't say that, but maybe they should. Alright, so we're going to prevent the Top Crop Elite from attacking us this coming turn with our Edifice of Authority. Next turn we're going to generate extra mana, which we probably won't even need, but we're going to be able to start attacking soon with our Glyph Keeper. The only thing that's a little scary is since he has Fanbearer, that's a way to target the Glyph Keeper with a spell or ability that'll get countered. and then if he had like a compulsory rest or something else, or cast out that he wanted to target the Glyph Keeper with, he'd be able to target after he did the Fanbearer. Interestingly enough, this guy's in this set, and he has, whenever he becomes a target of a spell or ability, he counters it, which is just like the Glass Kite from a long time ago. But there is also another effect in the set that's very similar, but it's not the same. There's a 2/3 for 1 and a blue, and he only cares when he gets targeted by spells. You have to sacrifice when he's targeted by a spell, but not an ability. It's kind of interesting they put both those in the set. Interesting. Feels like he's got the +1/+1 Oketra's, Oketra's name. We're just going to block with Talkrop if he swings with this guy, regardless of if he swings with the Fanbearer too or not. And we're going to kind of bide our time here probably and not swing into the Talkrop because it looks like he has a pump spell here. I would not put it past Tim Pop Superstar to play a pump spell against us. Feels like something that Tim would do. Swinging in with both. Okay, well, I'm going to block here. It's the only block I was ever going to make, so let's see what you got. I guess pumping both, right? Oketra's in Oketra's name to deal me 3 and to keep your guy. I'm happy to trade a card for preventing this damage here. Since it's really only kind of half a card and I'm about to have a bunch of extra mana next turn to embalm this guy. I feel like that was a strange attack for him to make. I don't think that was a great play on his part. Although he may just be feeling the burn, feeling like things are happening, that he needs to really get in on starting to make a difference and change things in the board state here. All right, so let's go ahead and cast this guy out. All right, and then we've got enough to still cast Shimmer Scale and still use our ability, so that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to untap all that mana because we need to leave one up. And we're not going to swing into the Talkrop Elite for fear of the pump. We're simply going to make it not be able to attack this next turn, and soon we'll be able to make it not be able to block either. We'll see what this is here. Cast out, and what's it for? See what he tries to target with it. I guess the Shimmer Scale Drake if he knows what he's doing. Okay, looks like he does. If he had some way to target this creature cheaply and then get it with the cast out, that'd be really nice for him because then it would take care of the embalm on the Glyph Keeper. I just don't want to give the Glyph Keeper up to him easily. I know we're giving up some damage that we could probably deal here, but I don't want to give up our first copy of it simply, as our second copy of it's probably going to win us the game as long as we're careful with our first copy and we make it hard to get that first copy off the table. Cast out's the best uncommon in the set, so it's pretty unlikely that Tim has a second one. Benefaction. Let's see what he reveals. So, oh, interesting. So he's got some creatures and he's got, prepare to fight. So he's got fight. He's got a fight effect in his graveyard. That could be an issue for us. He decided to put one guy in his hand there, the Defiant Great Maw. He's going to beginning of combat. We're going to make it so the Talkrop Elite cannot attack. Okay, so here we're going to get to draw a card. Alright, so at this stage I think we're going to go ahead and swing with our Top-Crop Skirmisher, if we are allowed to. Interesting, so he's choosing to target the Glyph Keeper with that. That's going to get countered. Since he did that, we're going to swing with the Glyph Keeper now. In fact, 7. This is 8, so we could cast both of these. That's pretty strong. Or we could just cast one. We don't actually need all of them. We could just hit him for a bunch of damage right now. I think that's what I want to do. He's not in a position to be aggressive with us, so take advantage of that misplay a little bit. We can cast our Aven Initiate, and we'll still have one up for our Edifice. Alright, so there's a concession from Tim. And we'll head to boarding. We've already got our Stinging Shot. That's going to be probably good against him. Citizen Paralysis. You know, I'm not really sure what we want against him. I think our deck might be fine the way it is against him. Let's get this out of here. Slitherblade. Okay, I think this is fine. I think I'm happy running this. Might be missing something really small, but I don't think so. I think this looks fine. He had a little bit of mana trouble that last game. Hopefully we're able to defeat him again, but hopefully we're able to get a little bit of exercise for the deck and make sure we're comfortable playing it. The deck seems pretty good. Alright. We're going to have to mulligan this because we don't have a land for the Vitalist. I guess we do get 2 draws for the Vitalist, and if we hit the Vitalist, we can start casting things. But we've got a lot of expensive... We got, you know, some serious expensive cards in our hand. I think we're going to mulligan here. This hand's pretty rough too. I think we're going to keep... Ooh, man. We'll give ourselves a chance to draw blue. We've got more blue than green, and we can cycle the same one if we have to. I think we're going to keep this one just because we mulliganed that last one. Yep, we're going to put that on top. Okay. Alright, we get to play some Magic at least. Let's go ahead and slam that island in. Next turn we're going to play our Top-Crop Skirmisher, and following that we're going to hold up Censor unless we get a nice card to play on 3. Nice thing about holding up the Censor is we get to cycle the Sandworm if we don't play anything. Now we could just hold it up now. I don't terribly like that play though. I think we're going to go with the Top-Crop. We're going to see cycling, maybe? Oh, cycling another Dissenter's Deliverance. Okay. Here comes Binding Mummy. Happy to trade with that, if you're going to let us. Let's see if he is game for that. Alright, we're going to cast Vitalist, I think. Yeah, we're going to cast Vitalist. We're probably not going to cycle Censor here, as it's fairly likely we're still going to get a counterspell off with it. Although I guess it really depends on what he decides to do here. So there's the Great Maw. I wouldn't be surprised if he put the counters on the Mummy, just make a giant 4/5. But I could see doing it either way here. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to cycle a Censor right now. Alright, so we've got 5 mana now. Moved us up quite a bit now. Interestingly enough, it's not going to help us too much that we've got the 5 mana this second. We can go ahead and play Giant Spider to stem the bleeding a little bit. I think that might be the play, even though we could get 2 guys in the other way. I still think it might be Giant Spider. Although we could play the 1-3 and keep the sensor up. I actually kind of like that. Let's do that. Then we can make some blocks if we want, and then if he wants to cast a... well... it's questionable with the combat trick situation if he would even really... if we'd even be able to get him, because how cheap the combat tricks are probably going to be cheap enough to get underneath the sensor. Sure, he's got a Vitalist of his own. Nothing. Alright. Here is our Colossipede. We are casting him now. Alright, we're getting into the territory where we're probably going to be cycling Sensor soon. Funny how that worked out. He got to enough mana to cast this 6-drop, whatever this is, just in time. This is probably the Honored, no, Scale Behemoth. That would have been great to counter, since we can't target it now that it's in play. But we're not dead to it. We can't stop it from attacking, but we can block it with a few creatures if it decides to swing. And that's what we'll be doing if it decides to swing, certainly. We're going to go ahead and actually cycle Sensor here and see if we can pick up a land. Got one. Alright. So here we're going to, I think, cast Giant Spider. Yeah. Or we could start getting that online. I think we're going to cast Giant Spider. Alright, so he does have Prepare to Fight in his deck, which is just devastating with the Scale Behemoth. Second Scale Behemoth? Okay, Winged Shepherd. Alright, well we can use the Edifice for the Winged Shepherd. I'm going to guess he's not going to swing since he just cast the Winged Shepherd pre-combat. I'd love if he swings here. I'd be happy to trade in a Colossipede for that Scale Behemoth, but I don't think he's going to be swinging. Alright, we can now cast Greater Sandworm, which is going to be a handful for him. He'll have to block with one of his bigger creatures, and we'll be able to start dealing him damage with the Greater Sandworm. I think we're not going to worry about the Winged Shepherd because of the Greater Sandworm for right now. If he's got Dusk Till Dawn, he's just going to super blow us out, but we don't have the ability to play around that here. If we play around that, that's we're going to lose a lot of the games we would win. Here we go with another threat. Greater Sandworm of his own. Interesting. Now he's gonna not swing because we've got the Giant Spider. Interesting situation we've gotten ourselves into here. Cast an Edifice. I think we're actually gonna go ahead and draw a discard here. Alright. Okay. Alright, we're going to say that big guy can't attack or block. He's really loading up the board, although a lot of his guys only have 2 power, so he may be kind of setting us up. But we really, like I said, don't have much of an option to play around anything here. Nice Aven Initiate. This is going to be helpful in this situation as it's kind of 2 creatures versus the Winged Shepherd if he decides to trade. And the reason I haven't been playing this Weaver of Currents is that I'm thinking about discarding it. Most of the equity of the 2/2 is gone because we don't need that extra mana much now. We do need 1 more mana for if we would have Sandworm Convergence, but only 1 mana, and that's a small percentage of the time that we'd be drawing that right off the top. We're going to make it so the sandworm cannot attack again. I'm guessing he's going to pass here. Casting something. Supply caravan for an extra dude here. Let's go ahead and slam an oracle. Graveyard, graveyard. Put on top. Okay. Alrighty. So that looks good. I guess we could swing with the Aven Initiative if we want, but actually soon we'll be able to, well, we may not really be able to do that, what I'm thinking about. So maybe we'll just go ahead and swing with the Aven Initiative. If he doesn't have pump, we'll be able to go ahead and hit him for 3 or make him trade the Winged Shepherd. Okay. We're going to make the Greater Sandworm not be able to swing again. Basically every turn we're going to do that. Okay, if you've got pump, then you can just show me it, and you'll get to get through my giant spider and kill it. Kind of a free attack for him there. Quarry Hauler, removing one of the -1/-1s from that guy. Okay. Alright, Shimmer Scale Drake. Actually, let's go ahead and... how are we doing on time? Oh, we're a little ahead of him. Okay. Let's go ahead and swing with our Aven Initiate. Alright, and then... cast our Shimmer Scale Drake. We'll be stopping the Greater Sandworm from swinging again. And we're actually going to increase this by 1. If I were him, actually, if I would have thought of this at the time, I would have used a Quarry Hauler to reduce our Edifice by 1 instead of make his Great Maw a little bigger. Because that doesn't really change the board situation that much, and this thing is changing the game quite a bit right now. Alright, Benefaction. Hopefully this will be decent right here. Let's see what we can grab. Alright, we didn't hit 2 things, but we did get Glyph Keeper. And Glyph Keeper's pretty dang sweet, so it's not too bad to end up with a Glyph Keeper. Now, since we didn't play this earlier, we don't have enough mana to play the Glyph Keeper this turn, but we can play him next turn. We can go ahead and draw and then discard a card, though. Maybe we'll draw a land, and then we can replace Weaver of Currents with it. We did not. We are going to still replace Weaver of Currents. We're going to play that Cartouche on something. Probably on Greater Sandworm. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Play the Cartouche on Greater Sandworm. We're going to say the Winged Shepherd cannot block. And then we're going to have 8, 11... 14 damage in the air. It's going to untap him and prevent all damage to him. But that does not stop him from being able to attack or block. Pretty sure he knows that's just trying to trick us here. But then he's going to concede. Okay, so we were able to get through that.